How do you kick off your big projects and accomplish dreams and ideas that are bigger than just you? Hi, it's Melanie Benson, host of New Era Success TV and America's leading authority on optimum performance. And this weekend I got into a really interesting and totally juicy dialogue with some of my colleagues and friends about how I pull off stuff that's bigger than just me. See, we had a few people over this weekend, really close family and friends, to finally celebrate my husband's and I wedding from last November. See, we eloped and got married on a beach in Fiji, and we had not had a chance to really bring everybody together that we consider our support system and our inner circle that would be there to celebrate with us live. And yet I was in the middle of a huge promotion for one of my programs, and this was no small endeavor. I mean, we cooked all the food, thanks to Giada De Laurentiis for some great recipes. I think everybody really enjoyed it. And we decorated, we had, a whole setup here. It was like going to a big party. And it was not a small little crew. And interestingly enough, a few of the people were asking me later in the evening, they're like, you cooked all this? You did this yourself? And I said, well, yes and no. And they said, well, why would you, the queen of delegation, not hire it out? I said, well, there's something to be said about holding your own vision. But how do you do it in a way that doesn't get overwhelming and stressful? See, my husband and I, when we decided to get married, we made a commitment that we were going to do our life with minimal things that cause us to be stressed. Now, you can't go through life without some stress, obviously, but you can make choices about how you let these things affect you and how you deal with significant events and projects and challenges in your life. And our commitment is to do things with ease and grace and harmony, to be people who create minimum stress as we go through life. And so when we do big projects, it's really easy to get stressed out. And there are moments in time where we have to make choices for how we do it. And I think this can apply to anyone in business as well. How you go about pulling off big projects, big ideas, big leaps in your business will either stress you out or you'll do them with ease and grace. And so everyone was asking me, how did you pull this off without totally toppling and get overwhelmed? So yes, there were moments of overwhelm, but most of them were self-created because I would get in my head about my attachment to what I wanted versus what was showing up. So this is just a principle in general. This isn't necessarily the big lesson around how you get things done, but attachment is a big indicator of how stressed you're going to be, because when things start looking different than you really want them, you can go towards, okay, this is what I'm getting, and in this space know that something even more delightful and powerful is showing up. Or on the other hand, you can get stressed out and you can get disappointed and frustrated and say, it's not what I wanted. And I have been this person many times in my life. As a matter of fact, when we showed our wedding video, I had to practice massive detachment, because we got on a boat thinking we were going to our island and having the very few things that I requested, which was an island ceremony. We wanted to have a little bit of flowers there, but I as I said, my big thing is I want it videoed and photographed for my family to see. Well, if you know anything about island time, things don't always go as you plan. And we got on a boat and found out when we got there that they had not booked our tickets, which meant they also didn't book the photographer's ticket for the boat, and the photographer was not going to be there. So we had a very hysterical video done by the one and only receptionist on the island, with her thumb stuck in most of the pictures and random shots and all kinds of stuff. But, it's all about the unattachment and just being in the moment. So it was very perfect for us. And it's always that way. You have to be willing to surrender to what is and get connected to the moment rather than be attached to how things are showing up. And that has a huge impact on your level of stress and your level of ability to use these other techniques I'm about to share with you. Because the second way in which I pull off really big leaps all the time, and this party was no different, is I create the vision, and oftentimes I'll call in other people to help me get clear on how something could look in the most beautiful, powerful, aligned way. But I don't try to do it all myself. And for many of us, this is the biggest lesson. And so imagine I'm sitting around the table, you know, the candles are on, and we had all these beautiful lights, and it was a gorgeous moon, and we're sitting around, everybody's like, you cooked all this food, you did all this. I'm like, well, it was my recipes, it was my vision, and yes, I helped, but I didn't do it alone. And I could see the faces of the people at the table who are committed to doing things alone and who constantly are stressed out. And their partners are kind of nudging them like, are you listening? And what occurred was, I think, a shift in recognizing that you can hold the space. But the key, if it's your vision and you want things done a certain way, the key is how you delegate. I ask for help. I give people clear direction, and I guide and showcase what I want, and then I let it go. And I said over and over and over again that day, I said, do it how you think it will be best done. Because if I tried to micromanage everything, I mean, we had so many moving parts with so many things happening. I would go crazy, and the people that were helping me would be irritated with me. And I took it as a huge compliment when at the end of the evening, this is like midnight, and my sister turned to me and she said, I think this was probably the most fun party I have ever helped you plan. And I took that, I mean, she's with me my whole life, right? And she's seen me be a very stressed out, bitchy monster, and then learn how to like release and surrender and become someone who's actually enjoyable to be around and can create an extraordinary experience, not just for myself, but for everyone. And I think that's the key to delegation in general, is how do we hand things off? How do we delegate? How do we lead and really let go and surrender to how things are getting done, knowing that they're perfect in the imperfection, because isn't that what life is about anyway, and knowing that it's actually getting done without you being stressed out. And I had this extraordinary experience. I had, you know, one of my best friends, I had my family, and I had my husband and my sister and my niece helping, and everybody had their things they were doing. Everybody was supportive. Actually, two of my best friends were there. And what ended up happening was we had this extraordinary experience getting ready. It was so fun, and it was bonding, and you know, everybody's in the kitchen together. And then they would kick me out and say, you know, go do something, go relax, go do your thing. And that's what I think real leadership is about. That's what I think it's like when you stop stressing and being so driven to everything being perfect, and you relax into how can you have more fun? How can you tap into resources that can support you in your vision getting out there in a bigger way? I could never have pulled off this party. I could never pull off 90% of what I do if I had to do it alone. You know, I have a team of people that all hold a space to accomplish certain parts of moving our vision forward, being able to impact more people, being able to pull people into this next dimension of their own success. I can't do it by myself. I do what I do best. Other people do what they do best. And we all come together to make sure it's getting done. So here's a question for you. What would you be able to pull off if you surrendered doing it yourself and doing it perfect to having it be done in a way that was perfect in the imperfection, that was supported by other people who believe in you and want you to succeed and are there as part of your team, but you don't have to do it all yourself? What big idea, what big vision, what project would you say yes to that right now you're holding back on? So this is the challenge, is to find that balance between growing your impact and your revenue potential and doing it in a way that doesn't sacrifice your sanity or your soul, and then allow yourself to tap into more leverage techniques. To me, that's what real freedom is about. So as we celebrate in the U.S. this week our own Independence Day, and we tap into a much greater realm of possibility, it's my challenge to you is to ask yourself, where do I need to get unattached and stop trying to get everything perfect and release my commit or my drive to do things myself because I need them perfect and I need them done a certain way, so that you can have a bigger impact, so you can step more fully into your dream. That's my challenge for you, and I'd love to hear in the comments below, what would you pull off and what support do you need to be able to maybe learn and have confidence in yourself to do this? Because it's a skill that you have to build. It's not natural for everyone. Trust me, even though at 7 years old I was motivating all the kids in the neighborhood to have these huge carnivals and telethons and I don't know what else, bake-offs and stuff, I still had to learn how to lead with ease and grace. I had to learn how to let go. I had to learn how to trust that things were getting done, and to find that little shift between being a micromanager and being a real leader. And that's the opportunity I have for you if you really want freedom in your life and in your business. I'm Melanie Benson Strick, host of the New Era Success TV. I can't wait to read your comments and hear what is up for you on this journey. Bye for now.